Sophie, till late in the third quarter, you guys were struggling offensively in that frame. Second half in general didn't feel the same as the first half on that end. Did something change for you guys? What you see is kind of leading to stalling on that end?
Yeah, I think we were just kind of slow. And every time that we're slow, especially defensively, it just somehow affects our offense.
Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back after the Fever's crushing 88-84 loss to the Washington Mystics. Indiana had a double-digit lead in full control at halftime, but a 22-7 run by Washington turned the game upside down. With playoff positioning at stake, the defeat dropped the Fever to 7th place. And Cunningham's fiery comments afterwards stood in sharp contrast to Stephanie White's post-game explanations.
Above her head is Cunningham with a steal. Cunningham feeds Sims, who goes coast to coast and lays it in.
So they had to make sure they had the right shot clock time as well while they're reviewing that.
So Indiana with a 10-point lead here, 6 minutes until halftime as Boston finds some space and knocks it down. Now Sims launches ahead for Mitchell. What a pass by Odyssey Sims.
Indiana jumped out to a 13-point lead in the second quarter, up 42-27, and for a moment it looked like they were in full control. But that momentum vanished quickly as Washington answered with a 22-7 run. That erased the cushion and quieted the crowd. The Mystics started clicking on offense, hitting 52% of their shots and draining timely threes, while Indiana's attack completely stalled. What seemed like a comfortable advantage suddenly collapsed into a tense one-possession battle within minutes.
Playing for the Buckeyes.
Here is the Buckeye product on the backdoor pass, but Mitchell lost the handle. Sutton thought about the three, steps in, Hull got a piece. Dolson has been wide open all possession, splashes home a three, and we are level at 47.
That momentum shift wasn't the result of a single dominant performance from Washington. It was Indiana losing control. Costly. Turnovers piled up, defensive lapses kept happening, and the Fever's discipline completely broke down. They racked up 21 fouls, giving the Mystics 26 free throw opportunities. Each careless pass or slow rotation turned into points at the line, and the lead slipped away possession by possession. This wasn't about poor officiating, it was about mistakes Indiana could have avoided.
Sims with 5 off the bench. Indiana has 8 first-quarter bench points. That's typically been a strength when they're playing well, as Iriafen just bullies her way inside. Now Citron being guarded by Lexi Hull. Hull goes over the screen, defends her really well. Citron just has to fire it up, and a circus shot for Citron.
The players who punished Indiana most were Washington's rising rookies. Sonia Citron stayed composed and dropped 21 points, while Kiki Irvin powered her way to 18 points and 12 rebounds, including key second-chance boards that shifted the momentum. Their impact went far beyond the box score. It showed that once Indiana stopped controlling the pace, even a young team still finding its footing could step in and take charge. For a Fever squad sitting in 7th place, with playoff hopes riding on these must-win games, letting a rookie duo tear apart a lead is nothing short of alarming.
Why at the same time? Because I'm you and you're me. We switch parties. Zub's in the chat.
Indiana certainly had strong individual performances to build on. Boston dominated inside with 20 points and 9 rebounds, providing the steady presence that usually anchors a win. Kelsey Mitchell set the tone early with her playmaking. Sophie Cunningham injected energy, and Lexi Hull brought defensive intensity. The core group battled and never backed down, which only makes the loss more difficult to accept. This collapse wasn't about effort. It was about a lack of direction that left all that hard work without reward.
Hull gets it into Boston. Hand off Mitchell. Indiana has to hurry. Lob back for Boston. Boston finishes. It's a 2-point game, 5.9 seconds remaining.
The truth is clear. Indiana didn't lose because Washington was superior. They lost because they gave the game away. Wasted possessions, letting the Mystics control the pace, and failing to respond once momentum shifted all added up to another preventable collapse. It's been the same story all season, promising stretches undone by mistakes and a lack of adjustment. Every time the Fever seemed to make progress, the same errors pull them backward. And now, with the playoff race growing tighter by the day, these late-game breakdowns are far more costly than before.
Cunningham looking, finds Mitchell, launches a corner three, it won't go, rebound Ainsler, and this young Washington Mystics group who continues to impress throughout this season, and Sidney Johnson in his first year comes up with a big win on the road.
Which leads to the pressing question. Why wasn't there a plan to protect the lead once it started slipping? Everyone in the arena could feel the momentum shifting, yet no clear adjustments came. Who was responsible for calming things down, making the right substitutions, or finding a counter? All signs point in one direction, and it's the same place fans are now directing their frustration. Clip 7. Stephanie White's coaching choices are under the spotlight after this loss. And nothing has sparked more backlash than Chloe Bybie's complete absence from the rotation. Bybie has been shooting 42% from 3 this season, yet she never saw the floor in a game where Indiana desperately needed spacing and outside shooting. White later explained the decision, citing defensive concerns with rebounding and matchups against Washington's lineups. But when you look at how the game unfolded, Indiana giving up 26 free throws, surrendering wide-open threes, and watching Kiki Irvin control the paint, that reasoning falls flat. Fans see a proven shooter benched while the very defensive problems White feared still played out, and they're left wondering why a potential solution was ignored.
Yeah, I think we over-dribbled at times. Our off-ball movement wasn't there. We did a lot of standing. It's almost like we gave the ball to Kelsey and just tried to watch her work. And that's not when we're at our best. I mean, yes, certainly we want to have the ball in our hands, but we've got to continue to get movement with and without the basketball. It was getting stuck. I mean, we want to play 0.5 to 1 second basketball, and we weren't. And it's got to get moving.
White acknowledged after the game that Indiana's offense kept stalling, often reduced to simply handing the ball to Kelsey Mitchell and asking her to fight through multiple defenders. Her admission, "it was getting stuck," has since become the defining phrase of the night, perfectly capturing what fans witnessed in real time. When an offense slips into predictable isolation, the natural adjustment is to create space with shooters like Bybie. Instead, the Fever doubled down on Mitchell, leaving her to shoulder the load without the support needed to break down Washington's defense. Clip 9, the numbers back it up. Mitchell shot 6-for-9 from the field, finishing with 14 points and 9 assists. She generated opportunities, but was forced to carry too much of the load as both scorer and playmaker. Late in the game, multiple possessions ended with her driving into traffic and taking contested looks while perimeter shooters were left untouched. That's not an indictment of Mitchell's decisions. She delivered under constant pressure, but it highlights how predictable the offense became once Washington crowded the paint against her.
With Chloe Bibby tonight, were there thoughts maybe plugging her in to try and spark the offense a little bit, or what was the decision behind not playing her tonight?
Yeah, there were some thoughts. I think that it matched up defensively more than anything with the way that we were going to try to play them, or in some of our switches and things like that. So that was mostly the reason.
And then just with the rotation, was it just those eight or seven that you ran with? Was it just they were flowing well and you wanted to just leave that going, or what was the thought there?
Yeah, I think some of it was defense. Being able to execute the type of defensive coverages that we wanted to have against this, the way that they play. It hurts. I mean, I think we had 8 turnovers for 13 points in the second half as well. So we didn't take care of it. And I think it was something like a 22-7 run, the end of the second, beginning of the third quarter. And those are hard to recover from anytime really, but when you're missing pieces. And, we've got to make sure that we're sharper at times. We don't have the margin to have lulls within quarters. And then I believe they had something like 21 points from free throw line and turnovers of their 26 in the fourth. And, we control that, defending without fouling. We control that, taking care of the basketball, decision making at times. And some of it's, playing some people out of position, and some of it's just not being, valuing the basketball in the way that we need to value it, being a little sloppy with it.
On their ball screen coverages right now.
Here's Mitchell on the handoff, bounce pass. Boston one bounce and a left-handed finish. Here's Boston, the offensive rebound, flips inside to Howard, who lays it in.
You go step up screen, flare on the weak side. They had to make sure they had the right shot clock time as well while they're reviewing that.
So Indiana with a 10-point lead here, 6 minutes until halftime as Boston finds some space and knocks it down. Indiana with their work cut out for them here. 6-point deficit, just over 5 minutes left to play. Mitchell, feet inside. There's an easy 2 for Boston. Cunningham leans in, thought she'd throw the foul. Boston pulls down the rebound and lays it in. He's her way inside.
What a pass by Melvin, too. Really nice.
Mitchell turns on the Jets and gets to the rim.
No one can keep Kemper is one of the best rebounders out of her area, which means the ball not directly above her head is Cunningham with a steal.
Cunningham feeds Sims, who goes coast to coast and lays it in. So 4 quick ones for Indiana.
I think the thing that we just have to continue to do that kind of got us on the run we had before the last couple games was we were aggressive at the opponent attack on defense, and that led to easy transition buckets. That led to everyone being aggressive and on their front foot on the offensive end. And, we have new players, and that's okay, but, we just have to adjust, and we need them. We've faced a lot of adversity. But we should be used to that by now. And I think they can just kind of outwork this a little bit, and that just can't be our excuse. You can never really control the outside things. You can't control injuries, and so that's why you really do have to control your mental and control what you can control. And I think that we have a really good group. We're still a tight-knit group. We're adding new players in that are amazing. O's been around the league for a long time, and I know you don't think so, but it's a blessing that you were on another team because we need you here. And so I just think it's an adjustment period. The highs and lows, you just have to stay kind of steady, right? Every team faces it. I feel like we faced it more than most this year, but I think this is going to set us up for something good. I don't know if it's this season. I don't know if it's next season, but I think there's always something that you can be grateful for and learn during those hard times.
So, what was the message inside the locker room? What were you guys talking about there after the game?
Yeah, I just think that we've had some hard injuries this year. We've had some different lineups and roster spots. And, to be frank, I don't think anyone else around the league thinks that we can do it anymore. But I think that our group does. And I think that we just have to get that confidence back. When we're clicking offensively, defensively, we're scary. And not a lot of teams can beat us, even with the roster that we have right now. And so for us, it's just remembering who we are. It's our identity. We got to get back to being dogs, got to get back to being aggressive, being on our front foot, and not allowing teams like this to come in here and outwork us.
Past couple games where it feels like kind of that wear and tear's taking a toll.
Not really. And I think that she kind of hit it. You have to give yourself a little bit of grace. When you have so many different lineups, O and I have never played together. O hasn't played with a lot of people, maybe Tosh. But you have to know her style. She has to know our style. And so it's different, but that's part of being a pro. You got to adjust and you got to learn fast. And I think that's a really cool thing too, because when you click, you click. And so that's scary for people coming in here and trying to play us.
Sophie, till late in the third quarter, you guys were struggling offensively in that frame. Second half in general didn't feel the same as the first half on that end. Did something change for you guys? What did you see as kind of leading to stalling on that end?
Yeah, I think we were just kind of slow. And every time that we're slow, especially defensively, it just somehow affects our offense.